Hi all, welcome to Rate My Gadget, and we'll be looking at Dolby Atmos and DTSX and actually what it means and what the best films are and how you're best to listen to it. Firstly, what is Dolby Atmos and DTSX and how does it differ from surround sound? So surround sound you've probably heard of, in which rather than having just the simple speakers coming out of your television, you'll have what's called an AV receiver, audio visual receiver, and you will have several speakers around the room, and the idea is that that gives you a feeling of depth. So if, for example, a car is driving through the screen, the sound will gradually come from the front speakers into the back. And that's been around for some time, and relatively new technology is what's called Dolby Atmos or DTSX. And the difference between surround sound and those new formats is that the sound has a location. Now, what that means is that Dolby Atmos on DTSX also give you height. So, in my setup here, you'll notice that I've got speakers wired into the ceiling. But you can buy speakers that actually project the sound upwards. So the way Dolby Atmos and DTSX works is that when you buy a dedicated AV receiver and you wire in all the speakers, including the ones which give you height as well, so either they're speakers which bounce off the ceiling, they're based on the ground, or they're actually wired in on the roof. What the microphone does is it's recording the location of all of those speakers, and therefore when you've got a soundtrack that wants to portray that there's an explosion at this part of the room, or there's a car travelling through this part of the room, it will change the volume and the levels of frequency accordingly. And it's meant to be giving you that cinema-like experience. The way that you can get Dolby Atmos and DTSX is, unfortunately, there aren't many formats out there. The most readily available is buying Blu-rays or 4K discs. So you'll have to have a Blu Ray player or a suitable device such as a PS4 or an Xbox One that will be able to play a Blu Ray or a 4K disc and also be able to play Dolby Atmos. Now, the best way of receiving Dolby Atmos, if you want to receive it on streaming, is really through Netflix and Amazon Prime. Netflix has got a better level of content, but it's still not particularly great. And the only way that you can get Netflix is through an Xbox One S or an LG TV. So if you're picking up Netflix through Virgin Media, BT Box or another device, you won't be able to get Dolby Atmos. And the way that you find out whether you've got Dolby Atmos is what you'll find is, as you're going through the different films on Netflix through your Xbox One S, you'll see this Dolby Atmos sign up here. And that means that you've got the opportunity or the option to play Dolby Atmos sound. Now, this one, how it ends, there are not many mainstream films out there, they're mainly Netflix films, and unfortunately there's only probably about 10 or 20 and you can find them on websites. And in order to get Dolby Atmos you do have to change the settings on the Xbox One S to make sure that it is Dolby Atmos pass-through, but I won't go into that here. So that's one effective means of getting it. Another effective means of getting it is to actually use the 4K player through the Xbox One S. Now personally, Xbox One S is tremendous. It's got a 4K player on it, it allows you to play Netflix, Atmos, it also allows you to play some Amazon Prime, Atmos and DTSX stuff. But the Xbox One S is probably the far cheapest option out there of being able to play Atmos material, as long as you've got the AV receiver. Let's assume that you've got your Dolby Atmos set up, you've got your speakers, now you want to kind of put it into gear and find out what the best Dolby Atmos or DTSX, and when I say Atmos or DTSX, it's basically two different formats, but they're doing the same thing, they're giving you that elevation of height and sound. So these are my top 3 films or discs that you can buy, and all the links are at the bottom that are readily available. So number 1 by far is the 4K Ultra HD box set or individual discs for the Harry Potter film. Tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Whether you're a Harry Potter fan or not, The detail that's gone into the soundtrack for this is amazing. So even from the first film where Harry Potter's underneath the cupboard and the floorboards, you actually hear Dudley jumping up and down, from all the way to the last film where Voldemort, and you've got the kind of the spells that are being put over Hogwarts. Amazing, amazing soundtrack. Really brings Harry Potter to life, and the fact that it's also in 4K, you're not going to get anything back. So for those Harry Potter fans that haven't got this, you need to get this. You need to get this. That's number one. Disc is The Matrix 4K Ultra HD. Tremendous film, anyway. Somewhat of a classic now. Unbelievably, it's been out quite a while, probably about 10 years. Make me feel old. But the soundtrack has been lifted in this film, and with the 4K, they've really touched it up. So scenes where Neo is walking into the lobby to try and save Morpheus, just tremendous. And all the way from the beginning to the end, the soundtrack really does drag you in, using that kind of Atmos over the top. So, The Matrix 4K Ultra HD. Last one, and a bit of a strange choice, but amazing nevertheless, is what's called Earth, which is BBC Earth. So the same people that made Planet Earth and Blue Planet have produced Earth, which is got the Dolby Atmos surround sound soundtrack. Unfortunately, it's not narrated by the great David Attenborough, but by Robert Redford, which is a bit of a shame because it does lose a little bit. However, the quality of the picture and the quality of the soundtrack is amazing. This does include, if you don't know it, or if you one amazing scene, which is the iguanas trying to run away, the baby iguanas trying to run away from the snake on the beach, which is just a tremendous scene, and for the soundtrack on this, it really does pull you in. So the shots within forests, within jungles, really does have that over the top sound to it as well. So BBC Earth, again a link at the bottom, and this is a Blu Ray version of it. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope that's been informative. Please like, please subscribe. All the links are at the bottom. And yeah, thanks for watching.